Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Marketing Monday. This is our 14th or 15th installment. We release these videos absolutely every single Monday with marketing updates, how to grow your business through digital advertising. Of course, my name is Eric Brown. I am the president and partner over at Vi Media, digital marketing agency based in St. Louis, specializing in getting your business found for the searches for the services and products that your company offers. Today, I want to take a deep dive or at least an overview of basic SEO and how to set up your website when you're building your site. Or if you already have a site built, what are some things that you can do to take a look at to make sure that your site is built out properly when it comes to SEO? So let's take a step back, right? When you're building out a website, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind. The biggest thing is going to be, what are your services and products, right? You go to websites and a lot of the time you'll see, say you're an HVAC company, heating repair company, and, you go to their website and they just have one service page versus, an HVAC company that you go to their website and they have a heating page, right? And then under the heating page, they have a page that's specifically for furnace repair. They have a page that's specifically for heating repair. They have a page that's for heating installation, right? All of those different ways that someone would be searching for, your type of company, you want to have a service page built out for that if that's being searched enough times on Google. So we use a program called Glue Maps that allows us to build out that sitemap, right? We always know we want a home page, right? We want an about page. We always know we have a contact page. So we know we always have those three pages on the website. Then, of course, they're going to be, the service pages, right? You're an HVAC company, you have heating, you have cooling, you may have, subsidiary services off of that you offer. So you want to build that out, right? Of course, the main menu bar is going to be the same thing usually across the board, just the main services, home, about, contact, and maybe a blog or something like that. So build out that sitemap. At first, you may have a sitemap that's 50 or 100 pages, but the most important thing at first is just getting those money pages set up properly. So those basic service pages that people are going to be looking for, you may just start with a 5 or 10 page site and then slowly build on that throughout the year. Because that's one thing that's nice with SEO, and one thing that's a hindrance when someone goes to building and buying a website is you see that massive upfront price, right? Because people are building a 50-page website, but really, what's even better is taking it from a standpoint of, hey, let's get a 5 to 10-page website set up in 30 days. Google can start to index and read that properly and start to rank you. And then we can continue to add that content, say, over the first, couple months, 6 months, first year, and start to really build that website up. So the sitemap, number one, you want to know what pages you need on your website, right? So you have your home, you have your about, you have your service pages or your product pages if you're a product company. And then, the other thing you have is the service area pages, right? So here in St. Louis, we have a bunch of townships. I've talked about it before. So what we'll do is we'll actually build out an individual page for every single one of those townships. That way, if someone is in, Wildwood, if you're here locally, you know what that is, or Ellisville or Chesterfield, we have a page specifically built out for those main keywords, right? If it's an HVAC company, it's going to be something along the lines of HVAC company or heating and cooling company in Chesterfield, in Wildwood. And then build those pages out as well, because that'll help you, number one, of course, your website rank, but number two, that'll help your Google business profile rank as well. Which, of course, when someone's going to Google and they're typing in HVAC company, HVAC company St. Louis, HVAC company near me, just HVAC company, you want to make sure that, you're giving Google the chance to rank you not only in the website portion, but the actual maps portion as well, right? Where your Google business profile is actually at. So great, you got your sitemap. So the next thing, after you slowly start to build out those pages, there's a few things to really keep in mind. Say you already have a website built out. Well, what you can use is a program called SEO Meta One-Click. It's a great extension on Chrome. It's free, easy to download, and easy to use. What you're able to do is see on every single page of your website, what is the page title? What is the page description? What is the H1 tag, and so on. So what these are ways to optimize your website. Google essentially reads all of the content that you give them like a book. So essentially, you want Google to be able to read your website like a book, and therefore, every single page on your website is going to have what's called a page title. You're telling Google, hey, on this page of the website, we're specifically talking about furnace repair. That way, if someone in St. Louis is searching for furnace repair, Google knows, hey, they actually have a page specifically built out on their website for furnace repair, right? So you have the URL. It's going to be, hvaccompany.com/ say heating services / furnace repair, right? So Google knows there. Your page title is going to be, furnace repair St. Louis or furnace repair company or something along those lines. Then what you have is a page description, right? So the page title and page description are both things that you'll see on SERPs, on search engine rankings, when someone's searching for what you do. So you go to Google, you type in HVAC company, right? Usually you're going to have ads. You're going to have the map section, and then you're going to have the actual websites listed out. So the description's what's going to be the longer description on that SEO ranking. So the description is your opportunity to use keywords again, but also to sell people to actually click through to your site. You have header tags. The most important one being your H1 tag. Almost always you only want one H1 tag per page, and usually the H1 tag is going to align with the page title. So again, you have a furnace repair page. The H1 tag should be, again, furnace repair company, furnace repair services, furnace repair St. Louis, whatever is going to be most searched and direct most traffic back to that page of the website. And a lot of the times, when someone builds out a site, and really I think it just has to do with web design companies, aren't very good with SEO, so they don't know when they're building out websites to really take it from a standpoint of SEO. You want to make sure that you're feeding Google the correct information. That way, when someone searches for the services or products, of course, that your company offers, you're actually giving Google the chance to show you on search. If you don't have that stuff set up, Google's not going to know. And of course, a ton of your competitors have that stuff set up. So you want to make sure that all of that stuff is set up properly. You also have content on the website itself. So, back in the day, you used to be able to just keyword stuff with HVAC repair. Just put it 30 times on that page and bam, you're going to be ranking for that. Now we know that, Google looks at behavioral statistics, so they know how long people are staying on pages and things like that. So really the content on the page is built out twofold. Number one, to give insightful information to the actual people going to the website, right? Having them convert, giving them the correct information that they need in order to actually make a decision to use your company. But of course, number two, built out so that way Google knows what you do. So there's a few other things as well, technical aspects. One of the big things is going to be speed. You see it all the time. You go to a website, it takes forever to load. You back out and you never go back to that website. Well, what we found is that the longer your website takes to load, the higher your bounce rate. So what that means is your bounce rate is the number of people going to your website and then immediately leaving without taking any action. So the longer your website takes to load, the more people that are going to go to your website and then immediately leave, not wait for it to load. We see all the time where it takes, 6 to 10 seconds to load a website just to get the what's called first index or first painful content loaded. So the first thing that actually shows up, if your website is taking 5 to 10 seconds to load, you are absolutely burning money and cash. And of course, potential customers that are going to, shout your name, but you didn't give them the opportunity to because your website just took too damn long to load. This is something, there's a program that's called Google Lighthouse. You can just search it on Google. The other thing you can do is anytime you're on a web page, you right click or double click on Mac, go to inspect. You'll have the two arrows at the top. Click those two arrows. You'll have Lighthouse. You can run a Lighthouse test. And what that Lighthouse test will show you is if you are having speed issues, what are those issues? A lot of the time it's hosting, right? You're on GoDaddy hosting. FYI, if you're on GoDaddy hosting, do yourself a favor and move somewhere else. SiteGround's great. We use Verotech in-house, but there's a lot of good hosting companies. But if you're sharing, your server with 1,000 other websites, that means you're sharing that bandwidth. So, your website's going to take a long time to load. So you want to make sure that you're on a good hosting provider. A lot of the time, people will have professional photos taken, especially for home service companies, right, of their projects that they're completing. But if you're not minimizing those, not only before you put them on the website, so you want to make those file sizes as small as possible without ruining, of course, image quality before you even upload them into WordPress, right? But then there's other plugins that you can use, Smushify and other things, to make sure that those images are as small as possible. There's things like WP Rocket that we use that can help you load you to the nearest server to you. That can also ensure that it's minimizing JavaScript, CSS, things like that. Just bloat on your website, right? At the end of the day, you want your website to be loading as quickly as possible. So the less stuff that has to load, the better. That's why we actually build all of our websites in Gutenberg. It's the native WordPress builder. There's of course things like Divi, Elementor, things like that. But what we've noticed is that building in the native builder in WordPress, we're able to get websites to load on mobile, 3 seconds, desktop a second. So very quickly, and that's what you want to see. So speed is a huge factor, right? From a behavior standpoint, Google knows, again, if you have a high bounce rate, Google doesn't want to show your website when someone's searching for what you do, because they know that a lot of those people are going to leave. Of course, Google wants people to continue to come to Google. If they're, if you're searching for something that you need immediate and that website's taking forever to load, Google doesn't want that, right? Because it's bad for them and it's hard for you to use the program. So speed is a huge thing. And then really from an ongoing SEO standpoint, say you're building out those pages, you're building out the content on your website, right? You have the service pages, you have the service area pages. Then you can get into a blog strategy, a content strategy, not only going after when people are searching for HVAC company or heating repair company or AC repair, air conditioning, installation near me, but also people that are going to be troubleshooting issues with their heating or cooling unit. And a lot of the time, of course, people get to that point, they look it up, you talk about what you guys do, and then they're like, shit, I don't want to do this myself. I'm just going to give this guy a call. So it helps to build, of course, not only those, what we call money keywords, but also the people that are going to come in from, searching auxiliary keywords related to, of course, what you do. And then finally, backlinks. We'll have actually a good episode, I think, with Zach, who's our director of search at Vi Media, about backlinks. But backlinks are just a way to really increase domain authority. And domain authority is simply trust factor with Google. The higher that score is, the more likely they are to show you in search engine rankings for what you do. So you want to improve domain authority. Essentially, it's the likability factor with Google. Of course, a few things that helps with that is website age. So we run into businesses all the time that build on a new domain. Unless that domain, that old URL, is not useful, usually you want to stay with the URL that you've had for 5 to 10 years because you've already started building authority with Google. The last thing I'll leave you with here today is if you are starting from scratch and you are trying to figure out a domain to use, right? www. whatever. What I would do is this, especially if you're a home service company. See if there are keywords, see if there are, type in, foundation repair company St. Louis or HVAC company St. Louis. Look for keywords and domains that you can use that are actually going to almost immediately generate you traffic. They're called, essentially when you have your keyword, when people are searching for exactly what your domain is, it allows you to essentially cheat and rank higher immediately once you launch that website. So if you're a roofing company here in St. Louis, you'd want to look for roofing company St. Louis or roofing company St. Louis or something like that. And then, of course, forward facing, you don't actually have to have that as your domain. You could still have your abcroofing.com as your domain, and still have people type that in. It'll take them to the actual website. You could still use it for your emails as well. So just because maybe you have a little bit of a long or a goofy domain name that's going to generate you SEO traffic immediately, you don't actually have to use that as your forward-facing domain. You can use, something else. So for example, we don't do this at Vi, but what we could do is our main, website would be Digital Marketing Company St. Louis, for example. And if someone just typed in vi.media, which is our URL, would just take them to that domain, right? And forward facing, we'd still have our vi.media website. So I hope you got something out of that today. Talked about quite a bit as far as building your website, SEOing, looking at some of the technical aspects, looking at, again, SEO Meta one click. If you're a business owner, you want to know if your website's built out properly right now. That'll give you a very good idea of that. And again, we release videos absolutely every single Monday and occasionally throughout the week as well. Please subscribe to Vi Media, hit the notification bell if you know of business owners that, are hurting on marketing or just, you think they want to know more. Please share this video or other videos. We have stuff about Google Ads, Google Business Profile, social media. We're going to continue to drop content absolutely every single Monday. So subscribe to Vi Media. Also, I release content as well. If you want to subscribe to myself, I am Eric Kempf Brown across all the social media channels. I appreciate everyone listening today. We'll see you all soon. Thank you.